The views and opinions expressed do not necessarily represent those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting group. Access Fort Wayne is a department of the Allen County Public Library. If you or anyone you know might be interested in making a television show, please call 260-421-1250.
Hi, Dr. Rudy Kachmann. Welcome to our wellness show. With me today, a guest, which I'll introduce in a second. This is mainly about diabetes, usually, because to me it's a real opportunity to stop it, prevent it. And I work with other organizations. And in another organization I work with is Soothing the Blues with Love. And we have the main organizer, Jeanie Summerville here. Welcome to our show.
Thank you.
I'd like to introduce you to the public. Tell us about yourself and the organization a little bit. What do you guys do?
Okay. First of all, it's nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming.
And Soothing the Blues with Love through the Cancer Club of Fort Wayne. Mm-hmm. It was founded 3 years ago. And when I found out I had cancer, lung cancer. Mm-hmm. And so then in turn I went to a support group and saw what they were going through, what other cancer patients and survivors were going through. And I had to do something about it so that they can have some joy and fun and feel beautiful and celebrate life. And so then Soothing Their Blues through the Cancer Club was formed. And it's an event that happens once a year. Mm-hmm. And this year is going to be September 21st at the summit. Mm-hmm. And it's where the cancer patients and cancer survivors are the models. So
wow.
they can feel alive and happy and full of life.
God, again. I love to hear that. Yes. And can I dance with them?
Sure.
Well, I'll practice my tap dancing.
Okay.
And this is a wonderful thing. People who watched my shows in the past realize that I really believe in the mind-body connection. It's real. How you think affects the chemicals of your body. So power of positive thinking can affect and help cancer.
Yes, yes.
And this is exactly what you're doing, and I really love it.
Thank you.
And to make us feel better, I mean, I feel better. Put on a fancy suit and a nice tie, and I'm dancing, man. And so for cancer patients, the power of positive thinking. I had a patient years ago who had a most horrible malignant brain tumor you could think of. I remember from Columbia City, and when I told him this is a glioblastoma, usually lifespan maybe 6-12 months or something like that. Mm-hmm. He looked me square in the eye and he said to me, "I'm not going to die." And you know what?
What?
He didn't die until 15 years later.
Oh, good.
Because I did everything I could for him, and even got a scan of his brain before he died. He had shrunken a bit, but there wasn't any tumor there. So I don't really even know. Maybe it just kind of gave out. But the power of positive thinking is a big thing. And this is what you're promoting, and I just love it. And with that, I'm speaking today mainly about diabetes here, but I want to put you on the show to introduce you to the public. I know people attend this event because I'm going to be there too.
Yes, yes you are.
And you got to admit, she looks so beautiful, and she has a history of lung cancer, and it looks to me like she's beating it.
3 years.
But how many years
survivor.
now?
3.
Yeah. See, this is a wonderful thing, because the chemicals we can secrete in our brain through positive thinking can affect every cell in our body. And she's learned too that cancer is a sugar feeder, so she's learned to eat better. For example, I've taught her that. and that, of course, is part of it. So let's go on with this diabetes show a little bit today. The reason I have this show every week is that type 2, we have type 1, type 2 diabetes. Okay, type 1 is where you have no insulin, more commonly seen in children, but type 2 is where we have too much insulin. Eventually, most type 2s, which is the majority of the patients, become type 1s because their pancreas gets tired of secreting insulin. Eventually it dies, and now they're type 1 also. They need to take in insulin, okay? Now, the very interesting part is, which I've really been teaching for years, but this book here, which I'm going to hold up for you, I'd love for you to pick up the library where we are today, or you can buy it online, I think $15. It's not my book. I'm not selling books here, but you can watch Joseph Kraft. I'll hold this up for you. Joseph Kraft. You can watch him on YouTube. This 92-year-old guy speaking to somebody else, telling the story behind this book. It's fantastic. I've watched it 3 times now because each time I hear something more. And this was when Joseph Kraft was from St. Joe Hospital in Chicago and the University of Illinois. He did research. There are 3,000 autopsies and looked at the real pathology, really what caused the heart attack. And then he started, then he ran blood tests on 14,320 people, something like that. And what he learned is fascinating. What he learned is fascinating, is that, we have our cells in our body. They have receptors on them, okay? It's insulin's job to take sugar, hit the receptor, open the door to get inside the cell. In type 2 diabetics, because they eat too much sugar, triglycerides form fats, and they make these receptors sticky, and insulin cannot get the sugar in the cell for energy, and you have no energy, you're dead. The sugar is normal when we check people, but the serum insulin is elevated. And we're testing people with blood sugars, glucose tolerance tests. When his studies discovered 5 different patterns. The normal pattern in a normal person, how they eat some sugary thing, insulin level will go up, not that much, and then come back down over the next 2 or 3 hours. But he found in people that are going to have diabetes down the line, there are 5 different patterns. The insulin levels are much higher, so it's not hard to figure out what tests we should be running, is it?
Right.
We should be running serum insulins in people. Do they do that? No. Major mistake. Major mistake to me. And that's just what I'm concentrating on. So, and of these 14,000 people, 75% had some form of elevated insulin in these 5 patterns. So they were pre-diabetic. But what he's saying is we shouldn't say you're pre-diabetic. You get diabetes. Then he discovers that almost 99% of vascular disease, that's heart attacks, strokes, retinal diseases, all types of illnesses are related to your serum insulin. 90% of vascular disease is due to elevated insulins because this causes inflammation of your blood vessels. He proved it. So when you see these hearts in these hospitals, and most of that could be prevented by catching type 2 diabetics very early. So I have this sheet here, which I'm going to give you a copy today, Jean, because you wanted a copy. One page. And on the back, it lists the illnesses that can, not all of them, but most of them, a lot of them, the major ones that are caused by type 2 diabetes. Avoidable.
Yes.
Avoidable. Well, what are they? Not little diseases. You can get copies. If you see me or attend my lectures or shows, I'll give you a copy free. I see people for free at the Three Rivers Pharmacy back in Cordia. I did this morning. I saw 3 people there, diabetic, all people that are pretty motivated. I think they get rid of diabetes a month, 6 weeks. Get rid of it.
Fantastic.
Get rid of it. I'm not there writing scripts. I'm getting rid of the disease. I'm hitting the root of their disease. I'm not treating the flower. I'm treating the root.
Right.
Some medications are helpful. Some are life-saving. But most of the type 2 diabetes can be prevented. Yeah, it can be prevented. What are the things that diabetes can cause? Blindness. Yeah, blindness. It's usually retinal changes from diabetes because of small vessel disease.
Okay.
Because insulin affects the microvasculature. Those 60,000 miles of capillaries that we have. So eye symptoms precede a full-blown diagnosis, 7 years. 7 years or so. Then some people have males can have problem erections about 3 years before full-blown disease. Again, about 3 years versus 7 years. The very first changes that occur in diabetes actually in your kidney. That's been proven. But in terms of blood tests, not much value there. It's an autopsy diagnosis in the beginning. In the end, because they get renal failure at the end of diabetes, and then it's easy, but it's not one for early diagnosis. But the very first changes occur in the glomeruli of the kidneys. That was proven 1960s or so, yeah, at autopsies. Okay. At autopsies. So it's microvascular disease. Strokes. Most of memory loss, say, you got Alzheimer's disease. What I would say, and what Dr. Kraft would say, prove to me you don't have diabetes. Because what happens is our body makes an enzyme, insulin-degrading enzyme, IDE enzyme, that degrades insulin. So if the insulin is elevated, IDE enzyme is used up. Its other job is to get rid of amyloid, the cause of dementia, Alzheimer's disease. Okay. So if you don't get diabetes, you don't get dementia. We can prevent half of the dementia by preventing diabetes. Does the Alzheimer's Association promote that? No. I invite them to my lectures. They don't show up.
Why not?
I don't know. They take the money, send it to Indianapolis, or think actually maybe it's Texas. No, it's Indianapolis. I don't know. You see what I mean?
Yes.
I don't get it. I can show you the books. Bredesen, all kind of books. 5 or 6 books saying the same story. Industry, money, lack of knowledge. I do not know.
Okay.
But to me, that's a huge epidemic, And then other things caused by diabetes, thyroid disease, liver disease. The biggest cause of renal transplants is diabetes.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, once you start renal transplants, dialysis lifespan is short. A few years. Increased rates of ovarian cancer. Almost all uterine cancer, 75% is from being overweight.
Okay.
You could cut out 75% of uterine cancer, a person has normal weight. It's not well known.
Okay.
It's not well known, yeah. And ovarian cancer, vascular disease, remember I said elevated serum insulin causes vascular disease, heart attack, strokes. That would, numbness, arms and legs, neuropathies because of the small vessels to the nerves. Once they start amputating your toes or dislocating your joints, what's coming down the line? Amputating the toes, the ankles, the legs, occasionally the arms even. Illnesses are preventable the majority of the time. Isn't that interesting?
Yes, it's very interesting.
And to prove it to you, so that this Kraft book, and watch them on TV. Other books I recommend, End of Diabetes, Dr. Joel Fuhrman. End of Diabetes, Dr. Joel Fuhrman. In fact, some of his books, my name is on the back because I reviewed it for him. And I just throw this one up here because the library has some sales sometimes, and I happen to walk through all these books, and what did I find? This book. $1 I paid for it.
Oh, great.
But I have many others at home. But it's a wonderful book. Dr. Furman's a friend of mine. And I attend his lectures. Goodbye, Diabetes, West Youngberg. He went to the island of Guam, spent 15 years there. The island of Guam had been flattened by the Japanese, and they used to eat these beautiful natives. I saw pictures of them, beautiful natives, like Columbus saw the natives. You know, they're of beauty, kind of like you.
Oh, well, thank you.
That was most that you see really, because they look like nature.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
If you eat nature, you'll get the symmetry of nature. You eat the symmetry of nature, you look beautiful. That's scientific.
Okay.
Scientific, yeah. So the Japanese flattened the island, so they didn't eat vegetables and good fish anymore. They ate American food and Spam, and 95% became diabetic. 95%. So Dr. Youngberg went there, Seventh-day Adventist from Utah, California, or someplace, and taught them how to eat right. And he developed a system of testing for it, and that was given to Kaiser Permanente in California, which I also agree with, and that's on this page I have here.
Okay.
You know, that's the first part. The path to diabetes, okay?
Okay.
The path. So you catch it early. I might still like Mark Hyman's method with serum insulins better because you get it much earlier yet. You see me?
Okay.
Dr. Youngberg is catching them on the path, but glucose testing, but the insulin things raise months, 10, 15 years earlier. And if you catch the disease, what's called in situ, you know, in the first cellular stages, you can cure it a lot easier.
Okay.
Lose 5 pounds, it's gone. Eat different food. It's not the medicine going to do this. It's eating right and exercising a little bit. So then I wrote a book, too, The Secret of Reversing Type 2 Diabetes. It's a book I wrote years ago. And incidentally, the testing I recommend, and it was interesting to see Dr. Kraft's book. He recommends starts testing. He tested children to prove his stuff. Yes, a lot of children among those 14,000. I started talking about this 10, 15 years too, but he'd be before my time. But it wasn't based on his book. And I like confirmation. Other books confirm what I say. I love it. I said age 1, okay? He says age 3. Okay, it split the difference. But he put the test in a book on a computer, and you see this path. You catch people very early, reverse this disease. Very simple. Mm-hmm. Very simple. Instead, we have this plague, much bigger than the opioid epidemic. You know, we think the opioids is killing this community. Okay, work on that. Fine. I support that. I wrote books on that. But the complications of type 2 diabetes, 20 times bigger.
No kidding?
Yeah. Well, just think of it. 1.5 million heart attacks. Okay? 500,000 people in this country died from these heart attacks. And then we talk about just heart attacks, we talk about strokes, and we talk about increased rates of cancer. Add them all up. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know, they'll mention diabetes as number 6 cause of death. No, it's number 1 because these other diseases come from that.
Okay.
That's the root. Diabetes number 1 because that is the root of the cause of vascular disease and strokes and cancer. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Saying it's added up quickly. The opioid epidemic is huge, but this is much bigger.
Wow.
And try to cure a drug addict. It's tough. Mm-hmm. Get one of these people over it. If you catch them early, I didn't say late, not when they weigh 300 pounds. Early, much simpler.
Okay. Because
they just don't know. They lack the knowledge. Teach it in the schools. I think the concentration probably should be in the schools. I was getting sort of excited about this to write these books. I mean, can you imagine this one book that I wrote? Must have really been a little bit mad that week, but it's the point, though. Gene, look at this. The scam, the racket, the fraud of type 2 diabetes. When you think of it, well, isn't it a scam and a racket? Mm-hmm. All this industry making all this money and the people are dying.
Yes.
And it's easily preventable, stoppable, reversible. Easy. You can get rid of type diabetes in 6 weeks if you eat the right food. You'll have to get rid of your drugs quickly because of blood sugars. Mark Hyman also wrote famous books, Blood Sugar Solutions, Mark Hyman. He says you probably, within a week, need to get rid of some medications. Because, and I tell you the reason, this is interesting. Our metabolism is run by our gut bacteria, okay? I give some talks on that, and you go to YouTube and see my talk on the biome, okay? Trillions of bacteria, they run the metabolism of your body, but the lifespan of one bacteria, 20 minutes.
That's it?
20 minutes. The endothelium that lines your gut, one cell layer thick, 24 hours. So when you feed into your bacteria with different kind of food and they're dying at 20 minutes and 24 hours, you're going to change your gut like that. Your diabetes be gone, quick.
Oh, wow.
So you got to drop your oral and insulin medications quickly. So you got to warn your doctor, I'm changing the way I'm eating, and the change is quick. Not every case, 90% of the time though. Depends what stage we're catching it, you know what I mean? Can you imagine catching it as a teenager? The change will be like that.
Yes.
But to let these teenagers continue with the disease, you check the blood sugar, he doesn't have diabetes, and you go on for years. But if you had checked the serum insulin, you'd have found it's elevated, and you knew what to do with Johnny. And then, of course, the reason we seek sugar, the booger and the hooker, is it makes us feel good, okay? I mean, you look at the donuts, and you know what I mean? And let's face it, I have a hard time coming through this TV show at times, especially having done other things, and I'm a little bit hungry, and you go to the donut shop and have a cup of coffee. Do you think I'm blind? So here I have one called The New Slavery. We're slave to sugar. We're slave to sugar because it makes us feel so good. We have a hard time. You know, we get bad fats too, but sugar, fat, and salt, but sugar is the main guy. We're chained to it. We're slave. We're slave to sugar. So there are stages to diabetes, which I was talking about in Dr. Kraft's book, that if we get serum insulins on you, they've had type 1 diabetics. Remember, they have no insulin, okay? The ones that were young. And incidentally, too, which you may not be aware, a significant number of these type 1 diabetics are ones who drink a lot of milk.
Really?
It's been shown. Read a book called Whitewash by Joe Keon. Yeah. Then I have a DVD I was watching the other day from Hunt Steele's group in California, Dr. Witt, V-E-I-T, S-C-D, and he going through it. I like confirmation. Oh, yeah. He confirms it. If you take the milk of an animal in the zoo, you get this animal here, another species there, and you take this milk from this animal and you give it to the next animal, that animal dies.
Why?
And because proteins, carbohydrates, and fats are different.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. We humans can escape it a little bit, but many of us, like Asians, Indians, don't have the enzyme to digest milk. You will not find milk in China, cow's milk. They don't have the enzyme to digest it. Yeah, blacks about 75% don't have the enzyme. Whites maybe 50%. Yeah, we don't make it to digest it, so it affects our gut and causes problems. Milk's not a health food.
That's amazing.
Yeah, something you didn't know at all, did you?
Right.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. It's probably not. It's knowledge. It's in the literature that we don't tell people that. It's industry money. It's lobbying money. Yeah, it's sad. Yeah, read that book, Whitewash, Joe Keon. Especially kids who have a lot of colds and ear infections and all this stuff. Most of them are milk drinkers. A person I work out with, I told her that. She was the workout lady, and she had 3 kids, always sick, always canceling an appointment to work with me. And sure enough, that was it, big-time milk drinkers. Stopped drinking milk and they were fine.
Oh, my
Yeah,
goodness.
I just throw that out. That's a big thing. So read that book, or try to get the DVD, V-E-I-T. His tape is brutal because you think I'm tough? He's a lot tougher. Oh, yeah. He's from Canada or Britain, I mean, tell you, in no nonsense terms. He says, I'm a scientist, I'll tell you the science. Mm-hmm. And I love that because he confirmed everything I've been saying.
Fantastic.
So, in summary, what I think is very important is that blood testing, you are what your blood tests are. I don't care if you're skinny, even Eugene, get that test done because we are what our blood tests are, okay? Even the trophies, thin on the outside, they're fat in the liver, and they still got type 2 diabetes. Yeah. Okay. So I want to know what your serum insulin is, okay?
Okay.
I know what your clothes is like, I know what your face looks like, but I don't know what your serum insulin is, and then we know if you're pre-diabetic or not, okay? So watch my other shows. You can go to YouTube, Kachmann, diabetic shows, probably 10 of them. You can watch them there for more information. Facebook, you can go to FM 95.7. They'll take these shows and put them on the Monday 6:30, Wednesday 6 o'clock. 1.5 hour show there, an hour. You can watch those. I have a lecture in Warsaw tomorrow, 11 o'clock. This one's on diabetes. At Lutheran Hospital, 23rd, 7 p.m. is on diabetes. I can talk to you in person if you have questions. I can give you one of these for free if you appear. Let me know what you think. I'm open-minded. Give me a hug. Send me a song. Take me on as a tap dancer. I'll go see who's better. Okay. I will enjoy going on his show. Give us the date, September the
21st.
The 21st at the summer.
The Summit.
The Summit.
On Rudisil Street.
On Rudisil, which is named it after me, right? No, Rudy. Thanks for watching. Namaste and enjoy. And see you in some other shows. We do this show, and I know, Eugene, we do this. We care about you. We love you. That's really the answer. Have a great day. And